My verbena have arrived, and there's actually supposed to be 6 in here. So let's just see what this is, how this is gonna happen. Yeah, that's cute. Trying to do this with one hand, y'all. See if we can just. So I kind of had to start over a little bit, but let's see. So there's supposed to be 6 in here. And let's see what they look like. Oh, all right. Awesome. I think you guys can see. So this is really pretty much what I anticipated. The Homestead verbena will grow pretty darn quick. And I'm not sure if I can get these out. I'm going to have to just hold on for one moment. So I've literally had to just tear into this box, but overall they look pretty good. And that's what I've got to work with, unless I wanted to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The nursery did have some purple verbena, but they were like in, big pots, and I'm sure out of my budget, but this is what I've got to work with. This is how they should be shipped, and they're looking pretty good. I'm going to water them, and if I can, kind of cover my address and stuff here, there are markings on the box that lets UPS, not sure if y'all can see, know that, open immediately. It's plants, came from a nursery. And anyway, but it was packed so well. But overall, I'm pretty happy with them, considering. I'm going to get these watered. I'm going to get them planted, I think, tomorrow. It's pretty warm out. And get these watered, planted tomorrow, and go from there. I'm getting ready to plant my first verbena, which you can see over there. But one thing I wanted to share with y'all, and I'm sure that y'all probably already know this, but I've got some of these crystals that you add water to. Let's see if I can get this. They absorb moisture. And I put that in the bottom of each planting that I'm doing. And I did it in the garden. I'm doing it here. I had to take my gloves off a little bit and bring everybody up to date on this particular bed. This is in between the parking area, which is right there, and the front deck. I've got some, hopefully these will fill out by the end of summer, and I'll drop not necessarily a link below, but let you know what they are. One's going to bloom white, and the smaller ones up here with the lime green foliage will bloom blue. And today I'm expecting some purple verbena, Homestead verbena, which will be yet another perennial, which I'm really happy about. And I think I'm going to plant it like right there, and the other one right there. They will definitely spread and, again, be really super awesome for butterflies and bees and things like that. But right now I'm getting some of this organic matter. This really isn't the mulch, but this is organic matter that is free for the shoveling. If you want to go down the road and shovel it, it's free. So I get all of my 5-gallon pails there and I load up as much as I can, and that's what's in this other front bed too. I'm hoping this weekend to get proper mulch and get this mulched, but you can see all of my greenhouse supplies, which if you want to call it a greenhouse, it was just a little indoor greenhouse. All of those are done. The greenhouse has been taken down, and I've actually repotted a few more tomatoes and a few more peppers, you know, just in case the ones in the garden bed don't do well. But this, now I can tell you, this is what gardening on a budget looks like. I grab what I can that's free. But now these, I know they seem very, very small, and they are, but these 6 shrubs, I believe cost me, I'm thinking $80 for all of them. That's pretty good. Of course, they're really small. As I walk over here, and yeah, we're actually going to get a proper walkway built in here one day. The grass is coming in. The sun's really not quite up really greatly right now. But the Nandinas, I bought actually 3. One is still on the deck here. And one I had, the bigger one right here. This is the bigger Nandina. I bought like at a big box store like 2 or 3 years ago, and I've held on to it and held on to it. And I've got that, but these Nandinas, I know they look very small, and they really are, but they will grow up tall, I hope. They're the Heavenly Bamboo Nandina, and they will get taller. But these, I bought 3. And, you know, my memory is just not the best. I paid probably too much for them, and I was so annoyed. I've actually bought these off of Etsy, and they were in, you know, one box, and that's okay. But they were just little plugs, and there he goes, put into bigger pots. The outside of the box though wasn't even marked live plants or keep upright or anything like that. And when they went to deliver them, of course the delivery guy had it, you know, on his hip, on his side. And so I'm really hoping that these are going to survive. I don't know, but the daisies, I've got 2 of these kind of daisies, and this one is going to be like a bright yellow. I bought these at the nursery that I went to on my birthday. And the monkey grass, that's what I call it, the monkey grass that I have planted here, I bought at the nursery as well. Except for this one at the very end, and it was one of the few that has made it over the winter. And then of course my weeping cherry. I've got solar lights, the little tiny solar lights, rice lights in there now. And there you go. But this is, and the bee balm, I'm sorry, the bee balm I did buy at the nursery. I can't remember what I spent in total in nursery, probably more than I wanted to, but I really, you know, I really wanted to kind of, you know, make this look a little more homey instead of just a flat, bland thing. But it's, you know, expensive. You know, I've watched the shows, probably the same television shows that y'all have watched. And, you know, they're like, oh, we're going to have this landscaping done. And they're bringing in, you know, really mature plants, planting them. And the reality is unless you have an unlimited budget or a bigger budget, bigger than I have, this is what is going to be. Because, you know, down here, I mean, there was no gardening spot, you know. And I knew if I just gardened in the soil, it was going to get demolished by the deer that come by. I have a few of my little cut flower seedlings happening here. I've got some morning glories that I'm hoping will trail up, and then once I get the panels up on the deck, it can grow up on the deck. But yeah, there's the other Nandina. But yeah, I was really annoyed about that. And I wrote to the guy and I said, you know, nowhere on the box or anywhere was this marked live plants, keep upright. And he's, you know, blaming the delivery people. And I let him know really darn quick, this has nothing to do with the delivery people. But yeah, so this is what it's like putting together a landscape on a budget, a very slim budget. In preparation of actually getting the panels done on the deck here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this stained. This wood is aged enough and old enough that I feel comfortable doing that. And I kind of have a tentative color picked out, and I'm gonna go this afternoon and get just a small little bit, you know, and get a piece of test wood. Believe me, I've got plenty of extra wood kicking around, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a test. But what I chose is dark gray, and you know, we're just gonna see from there. But I've actually took the sander out and I sanded it because there was like I don't know, it wasn't graffiti, but there was some kind of a writing on here, and I'm not really sure what that was about. And a couple of little spots here and there that I feel comfortable that I've taken care of. Probably I'm not going to be able to get this bottom step done because it just doesn't make sense to stain and seal this bottom step when there's going to be a lot of digging and stuff going on in the near future. But you know, as it progresses, I will video and hopefully get at least this one really small portion done. I'm really ready to have at least something finished or close to being finished. Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. My name is Glennis, and even though I'm in my kitchen, this is not a recipe, this is not cooking. I've got a very humble piece of wood here. As some of you might know, I'm not really quite sure, some of you might know, we are getting ready to stain this front deck and get the handrails on it and get it as finished as we can. But yesterday I spent, you know, not a great deal of time outside, but I do have an electric, like a hand sander, and I went out there. I took everything off of the deck. It's not a huge deck, but you know, and I took everything off, and I'm such a stickler for little bitty details, you know, in some wood. I don't think this piece of wood, but you know, there might be a mark or something on it, or they have those black stamps, you know, that they stamp them. I can't stand those. Sometimes I've been over to some people's, you know, decks, and I've seen those stamps, and I'm like, you know, you couldn't sand that off. I sand them off. You may not, I do. But I'm glad that we brought this piece of wood in, sorry, because it rained last night. It's raining again, and I'm really happy for the rain. But I'm really glad I brought this in. I'm going to just test a stain color here and see what y'all think. It feels smooth enough. smooth enough. Although I have to say the front deck is smoother. But you know, when they built that, and you know, they were screwing the screws in, and I know they go quick, you know, but, and I didn't notice it so much on this deck. I've definitely noticed it on the back deck here. You go outside without any shoes on, and where they have screwed in and then have driven in, that there'll be little splinters popped up right where they've screwed in, and I'm, yikes. Yeah, it's not too good on the feet. So I went out there, and every screw hole that there was, I sanded it, because, you know, I'm maybe never be walking there, but I don't want to walk on a deck and get a gosh darn big old splinter in the bottom of my foot. But anyway, I went yesterday, and they had this size and the bigger size. The bigger size, now this is a semi-solid deck and siding stain. And the bigger size, this was like just under $6. The bigger size was $25. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to spend $25 on a test anything, right? I don't need that much stain kicking around that I'm going, what am I going to do with this stain, right? Especially if I don't like it. But this is, I'm not really sure. I don't expect the color to come through really greatly for y'all. This is, I picked the dark gray right here. And what I was tempted to pick was either at the bottom, either Foothill or Dark Slate. And there was a couple of other things, and I thought, I like Newburyport blue and, you know, all of that. And I'm like, I don't want a blue deck. Blue deck. So this, we're just going to have to see what, let me get this open, what this is going to look like. I haven't used any kind of like a pre-stain conditioner or anything like that. No, nothing like that, but let's see. Well, it looks like dark gray. I'm going to take one of my little tiny brushes, little tiny brush, and let's see how that's going to look. It's a little bit thicker than what a stain that like what I'm used to, because I'm used to like staining like a transparent or semi-transparent, like on the walls here on some of my barnwood signs and things like that. And yeah, it has a little bit of a smell, but you know, it's raining outside, excuse me, and I'm not going to take this outside. Just not going to happen. Not today. I'm thinking about other things today. But this is not as transparent as I thought it was going to be. I certainly didn't want to paint the front. And I'm going to bring y'all along whether you like it or not. I'm going to bring you along when I paint a little bit. I'm not going to bore y'all with here's Glenna's painting her day. And I don't know, I do not know how to speed up a video to where I can maybe do a half an hour of painting in a minute or something. I don't know how to do it. So that's really very solid. And I mean, that's basically how it's going to go on. I'm not going to thin this out. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to have to take it outside. I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think so. Still pretty wet. I mean, I don't mind the color, but I also have to consider the metal skirting that I have. It's supposed to be like a burnished slate. When I think of slate, I think of blues and, you know, darker blues. And that looks, what I have on there looks kind of, you know, brownish blue sort of. But, and I like it. I like it because it's the roof color and the color around the skirting. But I think I'm going to have to just let this soak in. But this is supposed to be like a sealer and a stainer, and it's supposed to be really, really good. So we will just see. I'm going to let this dry. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm afraid of going too dark. I think if I went darker, that I would want to use the semi-transparent. That way a little bit of something is showing through, but also, you know, giving a little bit of like, I don't know, not gradient, but, you know, just maybe a little bit more layered or something. I thought if I did it a little bit darker, like with the ones I showed you on the bottom, I think if I did it in this, it would be really dark. If I do it in a semi-transparent, I think it would be okay. And I always think if I do it a little bit darker than what it is now, it's going to be really hot because the morning lunchtime sun really does come and shine on it pretty good. But when I go out there now, just the color that it is now, it's pretty hot on the feet. So I don't think, you know, maybe putting something just a wee bit darker, giving it a little bit more depth is going to hurt it because it's going to be hot. I mean, you know, it's just going to be hot. But I'm going to have to just wait and see on this. I don't know. What would y'all do? I think I'm going to have to, I might have to go and get a semi-transparent of one of these and, you know, maybe put it on the other half of this. Would that, what do you think? I don't know. I really like the dark slate. And the reason I really like the dark slate is because it looks like it's too glary. It looks like it's got like, is this color right here, like 2 or 3 different colors, you know, like you can see the brown of the wood and maybe a little bit of the dark striping. But I can tell you, if you, I mean, I can kind of see the wood through this, but not like I anticipate. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get, and I hate to buy this exact formula in a dark slate, and then I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I think it's going to be interesting. Do y'all want to help me pick colors? But you know what? I'm not going to upload this and put this out until I have a couple more things to show you. Thank you for joining me. And you know what? I'm going to get this done this week. I don't know, with it raining, I think I might have to wait a little while for it to dry out before I get it stained. Just to bring everybody up to speed, I think I'm going to have to back up a little bit, sorry. This is the dark gray and the semi-solid stain. I tried to like it. I really did. I even took it outside after it was dry and, you know, laid it down exactly like it should have been on the deck, and it actually looked worse. So I went to Lowe's this morning and I caught a couple of different, these are semi-transparent. One is bark and one is dark slate. And this is going to be interesting. This is definitely going to be interesting. I have these little sponge brushes, which isn't my first choice, but I actually bought them. Oh dear. I actually bought them to do stenciling, and as it turns out, they're probably the worst thing you could use to stencil. For me, anyway. I don't know. That looks, from here, I don't know. Looks purple, but I'm going to have to let it soak and sit in and dry. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. And what I'm going to do is, once I think I'm close to spare y'all, I'm going to take this piece of wood outside and in the, you know, natural daylight and see. But that looks, it's already starting to change, and which that's a good thing, because this is called bark. And that's dark slate, and this is bark. Let's see what we have. And bark is interesting too. That's a little thick. That's okay. That'll give me an idea of what it could look like. Not that it has to. That is definitely, what do y'all think? I mean, I'm sure you want to wait until the end, but I always value your opinion and your comments. There we are. Give this one a little more love. But this other one, this is a semi-solid. I wouldn't have liked it even as like a transparent or a semi-transparent or whatever it is they're calling it. They're calling it semi-transparent. It just, the color looked cheap. It just didn't work for me. But I'm going to let this dry, and we're going to take this outside. And this is day 2 of allowing this to dry. And although, I'm going to come in a little bit closer, although I probably ordinarily would have picked that one. I think it's called dark slate, and this is semi-transparent when I actually, so yeah, that's a little dark. That makes a little bit too much of a statement for me, because this is not only going to go on all the decks, but also the wall, like right there, and the steps over there. Excuse the mess, but hey, this is an ongoing thing, and I'm really hoping at some point by next year this will be done. But so bark it is. I'm going to pick up 2 gallons this morning and get started on this. So the deck's been stained, and I'm pretty darn happy with it. I did stain, of course, the post and the solar lights here. They had a bit of wood on them too. I've got to, excuse the fingers, you know, but I need to, once the panels are up across here and all of the fixings, I should say, I'm gonna, of course, make sure these are secure. But you know, so far everything is greening up, looking really, really good. The grass is coming in, which needs to be mowed today, but so far, so good. And here we go, y'all. I added a flower bed for this little small bird bath. I've got a little bit of solar running through it. But I chose, and I usually like to pick perennials, but this time I haven't had any heather in many, many years. And I just decided to treat myself and the bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds to some heather. So they have a really nice spot here. And see, when the sun really hits, it does go up high. It will. And so you know, although I like this one, it can run dry if you're not, you know, on it and the sun is on it a lot. So that's kind of why I really enjoy this one, because, you know, unless it's the water is just run totally out because you haven't checked it, this is a really nice way. But yeah, I've got a little bit of activity happening. I'm so happy about that. And I have buds on a lot of the bee balm, and that's going to be just wonderful, wonderful. And I am allowing these Johnny Jump Ups to self-seed. And of course, my monkey grass, of course, that's what I know it as, is monkey grass, is doing well. And the garden's doing great, but I just wanted to, you know, show y'all and share with y'all a little bit about heather. It's, you know, an incredible pollinator, and it just, you know, as it turns out, virtually everything that I have planted, as far as, you know, flowers and things like that, are pollinators. So, awesome. But yeah, I need to do a little cleanup, but other than that, I'm pretty happy. Y'all have a great day. Bye.